Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the founder of Black Star Sport Horses, and we're going to learn everything you need to know about dressage. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team. And the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I've got to admit, when it comes to horses, I really just don't know much. I'll watch the Kentucky Derby, and that's about it. But there's a big riding community in Dallas-Fort Worth, and it's getting more popular every single day. And that's why I invited Lisa Blackmon in. She is the founder of Black Star Sport Horses. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with a little history lesson. So dressage is what you specialize in.
Yes.
How long's dressage been around?
And that's a real common question that I get is, what is it and how long has it been around? Mm-hmm. So, really it goes back to medieval times, even earlier perhaps. They originally trained the horses for battle. That was how they got the cavalries from one places to another, and they wanted certain battle movements to be done. And then it evolved into where the kings and queens had their festivals, and they brought their best horsemen and their best horses, and they wanted to have competitions and see who had the best horses and the best horsemen. And it's just evolved from there to its current day, where it not only goes at the Olympic level, but then we have like smaller shows that are 1 day, 2 day shows where lower level riders can come out and show what they've learned.
Wow. And you were telling me before the show that this has been in your family for 4 generations?
Horses have been in my family for 4 generations. And growing up as a kid, I rode all different disciplines through college. And I was probably 30, 31 when I was like, I'm sold, I'm hooked, dressage is for me. And ever since, which is many years, I've specialized in dressage.
Yes, and we're going to show the website. You have a beautiful website, and
Thank you.
I know you just recently moved to Waxahachie, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But how many students would you guess that you've trained over the years?
Hundreds, and I love doing it. Like, a big part of what I do is training the horses, but I get the most fun sometimes out of training some of the girls. Start out not too young. I don't. It's not a kid barn. Mm-hmm. This is a serious competitive barn, and occasionally we'll get somebody like a Misty Moyaz or my daughter or Bella Fielder, and they just have a ton of talent, a ton of passion, and start them out like in that second level. Don't really know what they're doing. And they just take off with the right coaching and take them all the way up to the international level. And
wow.
That's when it really gets fun.
And you mentioned your daughter. I was doing research for the show. I found a piece that was done on WFAA a few years ago. Let's go ahead and roll that.
All right.
Well, you've done the pumpkin patch and the hayride, and you're looking for another fall activity. How about watching a carriage competition? Black Star Horses in Rockwall is hosting a big one this weekend. You can bring the whole family to the farm to watch horse-drawn carriages compete in a variety of challenges. So joining us to explain is trainer Jessica Blackmon-White. We're glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm wondering, as a trainer, what you can tell us about, in general, Black Star Horses, what the sport is like.
Okay, so out at our farm, which is Black Star Sport Horses, it's 20 minutes east of downtown Dallas. We have over 255 acres. And it's a dressage farm. We offer riding lessons to people. We train other people's horses. If you're looking to buy a horse, you can come to us. We have about 60 stalls, and then we have this great indoor arena, which is about 2.5 acres, and it's all inside. So if it's raining.
So obviously you're very passionate about this, and you've got this carriage competition, which in some ways sounds like an olden days kind of is it a throwback?
It is a little bit, because we did used to have to use horses and carriages for
Right.
everything. This weekend, it's really more about a hobby type thing. It's competition for people to go.
And what's the competition like? How are they competing against each other? What's the goal, I guess, is the question.
So there's 3 phases. So the first phase will be what they call the dressage pattern. So it's just a pattern in an arena that they have to do where they're judged on how they look, how their carriages look, and how the horses look. And then obstacle course with cones.
We're watching some of the video of it here, and we should say this is a free event. It's not free for those who participate because it's just a very expensive hobby.
Yes, it is. It's
right?
a very expensive
so
hobby.
You can enjoy your weekend at someone else's expense. Doesn't that sound great? The carriage driving event is tomorrow and Sunday at Black Star Sport Horses in Rockwall. It starts at 9 a.m. Go to Black Star Sport Horses Facebook page for schedules and details, and also more information about all sorts of events you have going on out there.
Yes, we have about 8 events a year, and they're all free to the public. And then if you can't make it that weekend, you can call us up and we will do a private scheduled tour for you. Out of the
Excellent.
farm.
All right, Jessica, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
And I know you're a proud mama.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah, you guys are both so charismatic. I have a family company too, so I get to work with my daughter and son. And what's it like working with your daughter every day?
You know, I'm not saying we've never ever butted heads, but for the most part, it's just great that the family's involved. My husband's in and out. My daughter and I ride together every morning. We go to horse shows together. It's just nice to know that there's somebody that you can trust 100%.
Yes. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Now, you recently made a move to Waxahachie. Tell us why the move.
Yeah, so the Rockwall facility that you saw there was lovely, but it's going to be a subdivision, and it was time to move on. And that was 265 acres and a lot bigger arena and barns, and we really had a lot of distractions with the carriage driving stuff, and we wanted to move where we were still super accessible to Dallas, but it's a little less congested down south. And we happened to find a facility that we could go in and remodel and renovate. It's 45 acres, and we could tighten the ship up and really, really focus on what we needed to focus on, which is getting our horses and our riders to the competitions.
Outstanding. Now, we've got some pictures that we took off of your Facebook page, and I want you to kind of guide us on what are we looking at?
That's literally our logo. It's on the side of our indoor arena, and it's billboard size. It's quite big. So this is me training one of my horses with Johann Hennemann, who is my coach from Germany. This is my daughter Jessica showing a Morgan horse, and she won a world championship with the Morgan horse.
Wow, that's impressive.
This is one of our babies. We also have breeding stock, and this is one of our babies that won a national championship. So that's our indoor arena. We have a viewing deck with tables and chairs and a bar, and we have all the mirrors. We have a custom footing, which is a felt mixture footing, so that it's really easy for the horses. These are our turnout paddocks. So we have this horse-safe fencing, lots of individual turnouts. We also have group turnouts, luscious grape grass. This is Isabella Fielder. I took her last year to the North American Young Rider Championships, and she was in the top 10 of the young junior riders in all of North America, which is Canada, Mexico, all of it. This is my husband and I, and that's my little dog, Barkley, to the right. And you can see we're facing the riding part of the arena, and then behind is the lounge, offices, guest bedrooms. And so it's just a really comfortable, that's my office. That's where I sit day in, day out teaching lessons.
I love that. I love that. And we were talking that this is good for young and old. To talk about some of the benefits of dressage.
So, dressage is a very intellectual sport, and it really makes you focus on mind and body. Things have to work together because it's not about how you ride the horse, it's how you ride the horse through a prescribed set of figures. it advances with each level as you go up. Each level gets harder. There's 3 tests to each level. So it's not something that you outgrow. It's not something that you're going to get bored of. You just keep moving up the levels. Once you've reached Grand Prix, maybe you want to start over with a young horse and start the whole process over again.
Sure.
But it's a long-term partnership with a single horse.
And it also occurs to me that it teaches character, discipline. In order to be successful at dressage, you got to do a lot of things right.
Most definitely, patience is a big one, and empathy for the horse, for another creature. And I say, teaches you how to manipulate really, really well, because you're always trying to talk the horses into doing what you want them to do, but make them think it was their idea, because that's the fastest way to get them to do what you want them to do.
And Lisa was also telling me something fascinating. She's getting a lot of her horses from Europe, and they don't know English, and you actually have to teach the horse a new language.
Right, and we do it with a transition. We have the transition being, we start out with the German commands, and slowly we'll say it in German, then we'll say it in English, and eventually we'll drop the German and it'll all be in English. Wow. But a lot of that customs, even the feed programs, it's just really different. So I bring a lot of horses. I've brought over 200 head of horses in from Europe.
Wow.
And, it's always about a 6-month period to Americanize them.
Wow. This is fascinating. Okay, we only have a little bit of time left, so final thoughts for the person who's thinking, wow, maybe this is for me. What would be the next step? They contact you through the website?
Yeah, you can reach out to us through the website, pick up the phone and give me a call. We're always available, and we love what we do, and we love sharing it with people.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you back. We're going to end with the website, which is blackstarsporthorses.com. The great Lisa Blackmon. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.